spot, says JT. In all caps.
Tomahawk
Look at that.
City.
Guess what, Luddy? Everyone is in love with Steve Spot.
Of course, they should be.
2 for 2 on the power play. Spotter dials up a win as the Stars rally from 3-0 and 4-3 down to beat the Rangers in OT at the Garden, the world's most famous arena. Luds, I'm Owen. John's here. Sam will be here a little later because he's at MSG. We'll check in with him later. Your super chats, all that coming up on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show. Well, it didn't look good early, but boy, did the Dallas Stars fight, and they get 2 points as they win their 5th straight game. Points now in 7, 6-0-1. They are rolling, and they begin the road trip. It didn't look good early, but boy, a nice way to get 2 points. I mean, look, it doesn't matter. You get 2 points anyway, you'll be happy. But to rally against a frustrated but still very talented New York Rangers team and get the win to start a road trip is exactly what they're looking for. This is the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show alongside Craig Ludwig, the 2-time Stanley Cup champion, and our producer, John Anderson. I'm Owen Newkirk. We will have Sam Nestler live from MSG a little bit later. Of course, your super chats already starting to come in. Get those chats in. You want to get to the headline, you got to use this. Oh, that scared the Jesus out of me. I never thought Kevin could be louder, and there's always another gear. The Mavs are just about to start their post-game show over in the podcast room. Make sure to give them a wave later. But get those super chats in. We are going to get to those in our third segment.
Watch
all right,
our
lads.
show, though. Don't watch their show.
No. You go back and watch the Mavs post-game when you're done with ours live.
Watch our show live. Watch theirs on the replay.
Make sure you hit the likes. Then go and watch the replay of the Mavs show. And here comes Mr. Loud KG himself that actually made me jump a little bit. That's okay. We appreciate you.
I love you so much.
It was so loud. I just went, ugh. Deer in headlights or something. Thank you, KG. All right, lads.
Did KG throw you off? You've never seemed rattled.
No, I'm not rattled. I'm trying to decide if that early chance for Jason Robertson, we need to start with that. Stars had a couple good ones. They had a grade A from Robo early. It was still 0-0. And then this next 4-minute, 30-second stretch or so of the first period, really, it looked like this game was going to be a rout.
9 goals scored.
In the game.
The only time they led was right now.
The last shot.
That's it.
Yep.
All that matters. You know what? I think no matter where you are, regardless of how the team that you're playing has had its struggles, you're down by 3 goals. Remember when it used to be that 2 goals used to be the worst lead in hockey? Well, it's changed over the last few years where the 3-goal lead is actually the worst.
I always hated 2 goals as the worst lead in hockey line because I understand the mentality is you kind of relax a little bit up 2 and then, team scores, makes it 2-1 and now get momentum and they tie. 1 goal is the worst lead in hockey because 1 shot and you're tied. Now you don't have the lead anymore. I would much rather have a 2-0 lead.
But I don't think you take your foot off the gas with 1 goal. I think 3 goals, 2 goals it used to be. And I think now they know that the goal scoring's up and there's more penalties being called and the game's a little more wide open. So they stretch it to 3 and they proved it again tonight.
I mean, I would still take a 3-0 lead over a 2 or a 1 any day. But you're right. All right, lads, this stretch of game action from just before the 7-minute mark of the first period to the 11:24 mark. If you do the math, that's about 4.5 minutes. Boy, yeesh. 3 goals for the Rangers. Alexis Lafreniere scored his first of the night. I don't know what's going on with their stats because it said it's his 40th goal of the season. That's a lot. Kid you not. Look, Lafreniere 40, Trocheck 40, Lafreniere 41.
Everybody got 40.
Duchesne 39. Dodonna. Something's going on with the algorithm there. Everybody's got almost 40 goals. They'd take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, Lafreniere left circle. At first, I didn't like it because it was short side blocker high on Jake Ottinger. But you watched the first replay and your reaction was, whoa, that's a good shot.
I thought it was a great shot. I thought that Nils could have done more on that particular play.
Can you illustrate why?
Well, I don't know. Can we, John? Can we illustrate why? Well, there you go. If you are watching, keep an eye on Nils Lundqvist's stick where it is, and you can see how he's got it almost parallel. It's on the ice. I've never actually seen this as you're trying to block a shot.
He's trying to use the shaft to block.
Yeah, well, the lingo that we use all the time is stick on puck, and we don't mean the shaft of the stick. We mean the blade of the stick. If he's got that stick on the blade of the stick on the puck out in front of him, typically like most defensemen do, this puck probably gets redirected, or he has to pull it in a little bit and try to use that move between the feet and stick. But because Nils is down, I think what he's possibly thinking that there's another pass that could go across.
It looks like he's trying to block a passing lane, doesn't it?
Yeah, it very possible, but he kind of puts himself like a statue here. And like I said, if that stick will get there a second before you do. And if you just have that stick out in front, keep it on that. And it's always something that the forwards try to, dance around a little bit. But this one here, but I thought it was a great shot. I don't think it hit anything, and it was just upstairs short side on Ottinger.
Well, the Stars almost answered right back. Jason Robertson had a 2-on-1 at a backhander at the right crease. Quick made a great save, but so did Mika Zibanejad to deny it from trickling over the goal line. And then Miro Heiskanen has the puck come back out in the same play to the high slot. They said save. I couldn't tell if it got blocked wide or if Quick got a piece of it, but it was an absolute mad scramble in front of the Rangers net, and Miro looked like he had open space from that high slot.
It looks like they've changed their system that they started the year, or they played that way last year. They've changed it a little bit. And one thing that you notice with the Rangers now is they kind of pack things in front of their net. There's everybody. And the Stars did it a couple times tonight too, which I think is good. I mean, it's hard to navigate pucks through a bunch of bodies, but they're all coming back into that house area. And I think that's how they're trying to cut down on some goals against. Didn't work tonight, but it seems to me that's what they're doing instead of staying outside.
Well, as I'm looking at this next play, it could have been worse right away because Lafreniere had a grade A chance. A backhander at the crease. Ottinger came up with a big save. But on the rebound, it comes out to Will Borgen. Originally, they gave the defenseman credit for it. It looked like his shot deflected off the top of the glove of Ottinger, but it would eventually be credited to Vincent Trocheck, who scores his first goal of the night at 9:55, getting a tip on that one. It would not be his last.
No, and what he does is he gets himself, the pile kind of parts a little bit, and he finds a little hole in there. And again, it's about the sticks and having stick on stick, or at least getting sticks up off the ice, and not so much in that one. And that gives them a little bit, I think right there, they get that third goal. But then I think they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit.
Well, so that was at 9:55. A minute and a half later, Lafreniere scored his second of the night on a breakaway. Nice move, 5-hole. What happened to lead up to the breakaway? Because the breakaway goal was nice. Ottinger's hung out to dry. He's trying to make a heroic save. But tell us about the build-up there.
It's what happens when your defensemen get spread apart as they're moving up the ice. It started with Brendan Smith. He picks it up around his own blue line. He sees a bunch of daylight ahead of him. He carries it down, and he carries it down into the offensive zone. Can't make a play to the middle of the ice, and the puck ultimately ends up. Brendan Smith comes down the left-hand side of the ice. Puck ends up getting bounced around a couple times, but what happens is Lyubushkin ends up going all the way over to the boards on the right-hand side of the ice. Puck turns over, and Lafreniere is standing basically at his own blue line, wide open, and he gets a pass right from the half wall on Lyubushkin's side. But because he's on the half wall, there's no way he's going to catch him. And it was actually kind of funny if you watch the replay, because Brendan Smith, not one of the fastest guys in the league, I've said this before, once Lafreniere takes off, Brendan Smith is now he's trying to recover from the wall where he initially dumped it in from. He gets to that blue line where Lafreniere was. Now Lafreniere is almost at center right. He just stopped skating. He
didn't even try. He's like,
he didn't try. Yeah. There's no chance I'm getting to it. And right at this point, both him and Lyubushkin are going, come on, Jake. Come on, Jake. Come on, Jake.
Please.
Jake didn't hear him. And, he opens up Ottinger and makes a really nice move. A couple of this, that way, goes back to the backhand and just shovels it between his legs.
So it's 3-0. And I put a note down, Luds, where you said, pull Ottinger? Would you have yanked him right then and there?
I would have, only, and not to pull Jake out, to slow the game down a little bit, because I think there was about 7 minutes left in that period.
About 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think again, it's a good thing they didn't, because they came back and won the game. That's why I'm sitting here and peace behind the bench. But sometimes in that situation, you pull them out, but you immediately go down to your goaltender. That's not on you. I'm trying to change the tempo of the game. I want to slow it down a little bit. Let's get a little different look. You're going right back in, started the second period, but they don't. They stick with them, and they get a good result out of it.
Jake Ottinger had never won a game against the New York Rangers. In his previous 4 starts, he was 0-2-1. And remember, he was 2 years ago, he was 1 second away from a shutout 1-0 win over the Rangers at MSG. And then Keandre Miller tied the game with 1 second. Adam Fox won at minute 16 into overtime. And in the blink of an eye, the Stars went from a shutout win to a overtime loss. It was a heartbreaker. Well,
payback is
isn't it though?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, they're down 3, but instead of yanking Jake Ottinger, the offense went to work, and it started with Matt Duchene scoring in quotation marks, because it was actually a centering pass that deflected in as it went off the stick of Urho Vakanainen's stick and in. It was only 90 seconds later. That was a pretty good response for a team that looked like they were suddenly off the rails.
That goal isn't scored by Duchene without Jamie Benn driving to the net. Because when you say that Vakanainen's the one that it goes off of his stick, Vakanainen's the one that puts his stick out, but he puts it out to redirect it away from Jamie Benn. I'm telling you, it's a tough play for defensemen, because you can't just let it go through. He was kind of chasing back. He's a tall kid. He's got a long reach, so he's really outstretched there, trying to do something to get the puck not to go to his guy, who was Ben, and ultimately puts it in his own net. So, you kind of take a goal away from Jamie, but I think Jamie kind of stuck it to him later on in the game, didn't he?
Well, he did indeed, and we'll get to that. But first, a power play goal, Luds. A Stars power play goal. Brendan Schneider was called for holding at 14:21 of the first period. And so in the span of 3 minutes, they go from down 3-0 to 3-2. Evgeny Dodonov scores. This is after Logan Stankoven had a really good one-timer in the slot. One of these is going to go in for this rookie somewhere. It was a good chance. He keeps creating it, but it was Maverick Bourque that set up Dodonov on the rebound.
Well, it was Steve Spott. He called an audible here. I mean, this was all Spotter. He set this up. What the beauty of the play was, for me, it was different than the number 1 group, because it was a little bit more direct. They had it a couple times on the perimeter, but they moved it from the half wall on the left side up to the top on Harley. He doesn't try to do anything special with it. Bourque gets himself in a good position where he can kind of get up, and he gathers the puck in, and he's got some space to skate. He doesn't try to make an extra pass. He doesn't try to go to the middle. He doesn't try to go through the box, so to speak. He gets it on net. And why does he get it on net? Because Dodonov is planted in front. And Dodonov he stays there. I think the original shot pass was actually meant for the stick, but I think because Quick kind of tunnels out a little bit, he comes out and it goes off his right pad. And the other key to this is Dodonov doesn't leave the front. He just drifts. He tries to get his stick on it, but he keeps his balance, and he drifts a little bit to his left and finds a way to get it past Quick before he can recover.
11th goal of the year for Dodonov. Don't believe the game sheet, which says it's his 39th, because they said Duchene was his 39th win, which is his 16th. But think about that. 2 goals in relatively quick succession, including a power play goal, cut the deficit from 3-0 to 3-2. Nils Lundqvist had a really good look from the right slot. Quick made that save. The Stars finished on a very strong note after a really rough 4.5 minutes or so, and it's 3-2 at the end of 1 period of play.
That's when the New York Rangers are going into their locker room. Yes, they have a lead, but they had a 3-goal lead, and the momentum has changed. And because of what's been going on with their club, they probably don't talk about it. They say all the positive things, but I promise you, in their heads, they're going, here we go again. Are we going to find a way to lose this hockey game?
And the shots were 18-8 Stars. I had the chances at 17-7, high danger 6-3. Everything except for the finishing was going in the favor of the Dallas Stars.
And what Dallas did, I think also in this whole thing, for the most part, everything was being directed towards the net tonight. There wasn't an extra pass being made here and there like we've seen in other games. And again, they're on the road, so you don't have to put a show on, and you're trying to create momentum by spending some time in the offensive zone and making the other goaltender work, and kind of keep the fans on their hands so they can't get up and yell and scream. And they did a great job of it. Once they got got their feet going.
Stars almost tied it in the first shot of the second period. Jason Robertson walks into the left slot. It hits the right post. He had quick, I thought, and it was one of those right off the draw. They zoom in and went directly to the net. Jason Robertson looks like a completely different player than he did the first month and a half.
He's so much more noticeable than probably the last 2 weeks.
In a good way.
In a good way. I mean, and the goal that he scored, to me, is a result of what we're seeing Robo.
Later in the period, Maverick Bork goes in on a 2-on-1 from the left circle, hits the left post. I thought he was going to score on that. He looked better tonight.
Much better. The one guy I wrote down all night long was Maverick. He's just more noticeable. I think it's confidence. He seems to be a more confident player right now because some things are starting to go his way. And he's getting acclimated with who he's playing with and everything else. But I don't see him trying to make these other little plays either. I mean, he had 4 or 5 shots tonight. There's more of an intent to get pucks to the net for him.
It was very encouraging. To me, it was the second game this year, first in a while, where he really popped again.
Yeah, he's noticeable now.
Up next, let's talk about the tying goal, the third period in overtime as we roll on here in the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
First, founded in 2010, Herman Marshall, Dallas County's first legal distillery since the repeal of Prohibition. Located in historic downtown Wiley, Texas is proud to partner with the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas on a single barrel expression of its signature straight bourbon whiskey. The Guns N' Hoses Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing immediate financial assistance to the families of fallen police officers and firefighters lost in the line of duty. They're built from the grain up through family, fellowship, and friends. So, for every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas for those who went before. Stop into your closest goody-goody liquors and other fine retailers.
Let's talk about game time. We all love going to sporting events, concerts, theater, comedy. I actually have some tickets. Reach out to me on Twitter. I've got some extra tickets. I'll tell you a funny story later. Jim Gaffigan. If you want to see him, I've got extras. Tweet at me. Trying to sell them. Anyway.
Tweet.
Let's talk about game time.
I'm tweeting at you.
How do you get tickets to these events? You have to go to Game Time. So if you want to go see, let's say, Jim Gaffigan in Fort Worth, you can. You can see the theater. You can see the virtual seats. You know exactly what you're getting. College football. We're down to the semifinals. The championship game is at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. You need to go to Game Time, download the app today, and get your tickets. Why? Because they have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events easier. It filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, and they have the purchase covered by the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Buddy, something happened in the second period before the Stars tied it. And it's one of the few disappointing things in the game was, in fact, it was very close before the Stars tied it. And it was Ilya Lyubushkin took a check. Didn't look like a particularly dirty check, just an awkward, the way he went into the board. Sam Carrick was the one pressuring him. He did not look like he absorbed the hit well, where he impacted, went to the bench, and then we would find out wouldn't return later. He would be deemed as doubtful to return with a upper body injury. It was pretty clear what happened.
Yeah, you're right. It was a good hit. I just think that Lyubushkin was kind of off balance and didn't have his feet set. Whether sometimes you're really not prepared. I mean, Carrick comes in, it's a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. Lyubushkin gets hit, and when he kind of spins to his right, it appears to us that his forehead hits the glass.
Just above the dasher.
Yeah, it's right. It doesn't hit the stanchion. It hits right on a pane of glass there, and then after he goes down, he's kind of shaken. But I think when we see him get back to the bench, they had a shot of him when he gets back to the bench, and he's got his head in his hands, and he's kind of shaking his head. So the spotter probably initially called down, got him off the bench, and then he didn't return. So
yeah, not surprising that they pulled him for that. Disappointing he wasn't able to clear because it did look like he hit his head pretty hard against the glass. So you hope that in the next couple of days he's able to recover. But if he can't, Matt Dumba was a healthy scratch tonight, so He comes back in, you would assume, but Lyubushkin's been such a big part of their penalty kill.
Well, and they score a power play goal, and if Lyubushkin's there, I believe it doesn't happen. And, it was, Miro was out there. Miro hasn't been killing a lot of penalties this year because of the guys that they've had there. And, he's doing other duties, obviously. But I think Lyubushkin is a big part of the defensive side of the Stars game. He's just steady Eddie back there. He takes care of the front of the net. He's good in the corners. His outlet passes have been good all year long. Plus, he adds a little more offense than I figured he would this year.
Yeah, well, the Stars needed a goal, and they got it from Jason Robertson as he scored 13-14. I believe Lyubushkin was hurt around just past the 7-minute mark of the second period. So about 6 minutes later, they tie it, and Robertson from Dodonov and Hintz makes it a 3-3 hockey game. They had a couple of chances. Robo had a tip at the crease. Hintz got a shot from the right circle, but this goal was a thing of beauty on the back end.
This is why it feels like Robo's back. Robo's behind the net when he gets the puck, and what he tries to do is he comes out, he just gets to the edge of the net, and he makes a nice pass to Dodonov. He was trying to get him the puck for a shot on net. But the one thing that Robo doesn't do is he doesn't stop his feet. As he makes the pass, he's trying to get out, which we didn't see early on. He's trying to get out. I believe that he thinks that Dodonov's going to get a shot on net. He's going to come out and try to circle around the back of Dodonov and get to the front of the net. Well, fortunately, because he's doing that, Dodonov doesn't get a shot off, and it pops off of his stick, and it goes right on the stick of Robo's. And what was nice about it is he doesn't try to do anything but get that corner a little bit. He's on his backhand, and he whips that backhand to the net, and he finds a hole there, short side high. And I don't think he initially thought it went into the net, because once he gets around and he kind of sees it, that's when he starts to celebrate. You'd have thought he scored an OT there on that one, how happy he was.
And he didn't see it at first. It's almost looked like he was still in the play when everybody else started to celebrate. But what I really like, and true goal scorer fashion, he didn't need to take a touch and look at, he knew where the goal was.
Yeah.
He knew where he was going. And so it was really a no-look backhand in the sense that he was controlling the puck and he knew where he was going. He had that sort of visual in his mind.
It's amazing how the goal scorers, the guys that spend all that time, Hintz, him, then Duchesne, Tyler Seguin, they can be anywhere on the ice. They can have their back to the play. They can kind of get bumped and somehow spin around and know exactly where that net is. And the Robo is one of them. He's got a nose for the net. Now what he's doing, he's finding a way to get a little tighter to the net. And he's shooting the puck for sure. But now he's going into the dirty areas. Like that's one of them, and he's getting rewarded for it.
Stars really were better than the Rangers through the first two periods as far as number of chances allowed, but they did give away a couple breakaways. Lafreniere scored in the first. Zibanejad, right after Robertson's goal, had a clear-cut breakaway, and you can see the way it's been going for him lately. He just absolutely sails this.
Yeah, and I thought he worked hard tonight for them.
He did.
He
for
puts
sure.
the effort. He puts the effort in. And he's such a big guy, and I think it's hard for these guys that are high-end quality players that've been such a big part of a team. And when things just aren't going well, you're snake bit, and it gets a little bit frustrating. It looks like some of the frustration is starting to seek in a little bit.
Well, they go to the third period, and the teams traded unbelievable misses and they almost carbon copied. Robertson gets a redirection at the top of the crease, and it deflects off of him. I think it hit his leg, not his stick, but it goes just wide of the far post. The net's open. Quick was covering the near post. It would have been an easy goal if it's between the posts. Then they go to the other end, and it's the same thing, except for Trocheck is on his forehand at the top of the crease, and he just pushes it wide. That's an empty net tap-in goal as well. So they both dodge a bullet there.
Yeah, and Trocheck seems to always find the front of the net. I mean, he's not a overly big player, but he's got a nose for the net, and he pays the price. And again, he's another one of those guys. When he goes there, he's got good hands and tight, and the traffic doesn't really bother him. He finds a way to get a piece of the puck all the time.
Funny you mentioned Trocheck and traffic because you already had a goal. Well, he gets another one. Power play. Thomas Harley called for delay of game for puck over the glass, 11:20 into the third. And late in the power play, about 25 seconds left, Trocheck scores his second of the night at 12:56. Redirection right at the crease from Zibanejad's long shot, and they take a 4-3 lead, and you're just worried, Luds, that that's going to hold up as the game winner after all that work.
This is where I talk about Lyubushkin. You miss him. And because if he's there, Miro's the guy in front of the net. And, I've been critical of Miro in this particular part of the game. And this opportunity, Miro, again, doesn't get his stick up off the ice. He actually kind of steps away. I think he was afraid of screening Ottinger possibly, but he leaves his stick clear. I think if that's Lyubushkin or, any other defenseman, Essa for sure, a defenseman that's in that area, they find a way to either move him or get his stick up in the air so that he can't get anything on it.
Listen to this career numbers for Vincent Trocheck. He had a 3-point night tonight, 2 goals and an assist. His career against the Dallas Stars, 28 games counting tonight against Dallas in his career, Florida, Rangers, etc. He now has 12 goals, 17 assists. That's 23 points, 5 power play goals, 2 game winners. Almost had another one with that one. And then, Luds, a weird bounce off the side glass, comes out to the left circle, and he just hammers a one-timer, hits the left post. That goes in. It's his hat trick. It's a 2-goal lead. Game over.
Well, maybe.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah.
But they survive it. And then with just a little over 2.5 minutes to go in regulation, we got to talk about Sam Steele. He didn't score this, but he created this. Thomas Harley ties it. 2 goals in 2 games for Harley. But this play by Steele was really impressive.
What was impressive was who he was competing with. I mean, it starts on the right side of Jonathan Quick in one corner, and it's Keandre Miller. Miller is 6'5", 212 pounds, I believe he is. So Steele goes into the corner on the right side of Quick into the corner and pretty much just takes the puck away from Miller. And then Miller and him kind of chase each other back behind the net. They go behind Quick, and now it's Miller and Steele again to the left of Jonathan Quick. And he outmuscles him again, 6'5", 220 pounds or 215, whatever he is. And he kind of turns and he gets on his backhand, and somehow he makes an incredible pass right on the tape of who else would be down, which defenseman would be down in that area of the ice is Thomas Harley. And we've seen Thomas down in those areas. I say it, he's got these offensive instincts in that area of the ice. He understands when to stay out. As a defenseman, so many times what helped defensemen is when forwards, if you're on your own zone, the opponent forward will help you when they come in too low, because now you're right near us and we can kind of defend you. But he understands that, so he stays out high enough until he sees that Steele's got an opening, that he can get a puck out there. Then he steps down a couple more feet. He takes his time, and then he gets it, and what does he do? He finishes it again.
6th goal of the year for Harley. Steele with a beautiful assist. The man of steel with a heck of a play. And this is the last chance. Neither team created anything. They had a couple of close calls, but no quality chances in the final 2.5 minutes. So off we go for the second straight game to overtime. Now, Letty, this has been one of the gripes of a good team and a good season so far, right? Tonight's win was the 25th in 39 games. It's pretty good. Stars have 51 points in 39 games. Also pretty good. One of the complaints of Stars fans is not the wins, but in some of their losses, they haven't been able to fight back from a deficit, get to overtime, and steal some points. Well, they did that tonight, not just 1, but 2, because in overtime, they draw a penalty. As Wyatt Johnston, this starts with an unbelievable move by Matt Duchene as he sort of loses possession, coming over the blue line, gets it back, and in one motion recognizes he sees where the pass needs to go, but there was a Rangers player. So rather than just try to push it through, he spins and throws a backhander into space. Pass goes across, and Panarin ties up Wyatt Johnston. I don't know if it was a bit of a harsh penalty in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the stick of Panarin wasn't on the hands, and he didn't tie up the hands. I thought he had it on the stick, but I think maybe the way you kind of spin around a little bit makes it look like it's more egregious than it probably is, and that's probably why. And again, sometimes if the referee is on that right-hand side of the players, they can't see through them. If he's standing over there, it appears that he probably hooked him.
I think he had the angle behind, so he couldn't see like we could from the camera angle with the other way. Well, they get the power play. And the Stars' top unit that they put out there, 4-on-3 to win the game in overtime, it was atrocious, ugly. Not saying the players out there shouldn't be out there, but Luddy, they were forcing a play that wasn't there more than once, and they almost went through a full 2-minute 4-on-3 without a shot on goal.
One of the rules, I think, from a penalty killer standpoint, and power play guys obviously on the other side of it, is you don't try, whether it's 5-on-3, 4-on-3, 5-on-3. You you don't try to go through the triangle. Typically, when you only have 3 defenders out there, you set up a triangle, and the guy at the top pretty much wants to stay in front of a shooter from the tops of the circles. The other 2 guys, once the puck gets down low, you just kind of make sure nothing comes into the high slot. Well, Dallas always seemed to want to go through that triangle, and I believe there were at least 2 of them that the high guy would tip away from them with their stick, and they wanted to keep forcing it until they just kind of took a little more direct route.
Well, they did a second group. The second unit comes out, less than a minute to go in the power play. Because
who was on that group again?
The first or the second group?
The second group.
It was Stankoven, Benn, Robertson, and Harley. They came out, again, I think it was like 30, 35 seconds.
I believe I saw Steve Spott talking to those guys while the number 1 power play was out there. Spotter took charge and said, hey, guys, here's what we're going to do when we get out there. And they listened to him, and it worked again.
Well, guess what? With 8 seconds left on the power play, the Stars get their one and only shot on goal of that 4-on-3, and it's the game winner for the captain. Jamie Benn scores on a redirection at the top of the crease from Jason Robertson. And Luddy, instead of trying to force through that triangle, they went around it and got to the puck to the front of the net.
Yeah, and so, again, 6'5", 215-pound Keandre Miller was standing in front and did absolutely nothing to Jamie Benn.
And he's a big guy.
He's a big man, and he was about a foot outside the top of the crease there, and Jamie was just standing behind him. So the goal that Duchesne attempted to get to Jamie, that Duchesne got credit for, Jamie was in that very same area, and like I said, he didn't get a whack, he didn't get a stick lift or anything. It was a great pass from Robo. And Jamie puts it in strong on his backhand side and tips it in right where he always is.
And just like that, the Stars win for the 5th straight game, points in 7. They're 9-3-1 in their last 13. You know, for all our little nitpicks, issues here and there, you win 5 in a row, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
You know what? I gotta give a shout out to the defenseman. Besides Lyubushkin, who did have to leave the game, and Essa, who did not have any shots on goal tonight, there were 14 shots from the other 4 defensemen.
That's really good.
So, but that also tells you how that the Rangers are playing. They're trying to pack things in, and I think they're searching for answers, but what it does, it leaves the points wide open. And so the defensemen found a way to get pucks through, so you get 14, 15 shots from only 4 of your defensemen. You know there's some space and time out there.
I just realized that I read the wrong read. The right read for the show, but in the wrong segment in segment 1. So we're going to flip-flop them. Our producer called the audible well or reacted beautifully.
I know, because I put this on screen when you went to...
Yes, and it's not his fault. That was all me. We're going to make up for that. But your Super Chats are coming up next here on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
Am I going to read the right one now? Should I read Rugged Road?
You always read the right one.
Okay. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. Crafted to handle the toughest environments, their coolers are built to last, ensuring they can keep up with any adventure. The coolers are guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days, and we have proven that. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities. From fishing and tubing to camping and tailgating, these coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So, gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used, Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head over to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off.
All right, now let's talk about the East-West Shrine Bowl. It's supposed to be in the last segment, but that's okay. America's oldest college football all-star game is being held right here in Texas on January 30th. Be a part of history in the making at the 100th East-West Shrine Bowl at AT&T Stadium. Since 1925, the game has benefited Shriners Children's and its mission to provide innovative pediatric specialty care to improve and transform the lives of children. See some of the nation's top college football players play in this head-to-head competition ahead of the NFL draft. Some of the largest names in football have played in the East-West Shrine Bowl, like Tom Brady, Walter Payton, Roger Staubach, Lawrence Taylor, and more. Even some popular current players in the NFL, like Brock Purdy, Isaiah Pacheco, and Zay Flowers also played in the game in 2022 and 2023. The East-West Shrine Bowl has served as the starting point for many noteworthy NFL careers, including 80 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and more than 200 members of the College Football Hall of Fame. Tickets start at just $20. Visit shrinebowl.com to buy your tickets today. All right. Now that we have gotten ourselves back on track after a Stars 5-4 overtime win in New York City, the Big Apple, it's time for our Super Chats. So get to your chat right now. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for joining us. If you want to get your comment, your question, whatever it is you want to do, get it in the Super Chat to get it in that queue because we've already got a few up and running. Let's go ahead, John.
Bing bang.
Start with I Love Misty 1985 with a little Ben and 03. That's Ludwig for sure. Tomahawk City.
Tomahawk City.
This seems like the type of game that we'd lose in the 2024 half of the season, but it's good to see the team come back from an 0-3 deficit and score twice on the power play. Both of those things are great.
Yeah, especially the power play. You know, we need that to get consistent. But I think as the season rolls along, you want to find as many ways to win hockey games as you possibly can, so that when those types of things come up during the playoffs, you kind of reflect back on, hey, we've done this before. We've done this before. Every time I look over you, you're smiling and laughing.
Yeah, one of our diehards or somebody who's in the chat just said it's funny. I got to try to not react when I read it. Chat. I'm still listening, so please go ahead.
Well, I'm done now.
No,
I've lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the power play.
No, I was talking about finding different ways to win.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah, well, the power play, again, Steve Spott. But
Spotter,
our man. Never lost faith in you, Spotter. I just want you to know that. But again, I think when we talk about the power play, so much of that is being confident. And you have to have some things go well for you. So hopefully, you know, they need to put one game on top of one and then another one. It doesn't mean they need to get 3 power play goals next game, but kind of get a steady diet of scoring a power play or getting a power play goal 3 out of the next 4 games or something like that. And then you kind of feel it coming again.
Yep. Let's go to the next one.
Bing bang.
T Farmer, a little Ben and Ben. I didn't get to watch too much of this one, but new year, new page. Ben once again won't let this team lose. Oh, captain, my captain. Not only, Luddy, did Jamie Benn score the overtime winner, which added to his already franchise record for most OT goals. We were talking about that after Harley's goal the other night. He's now 6 goals away from 400 in his NHL career, 394 tonight. He has points in 11 of his last 13, 5 goals, 8 assists. Did he have a helper tonight? I didn't notice. Let's see. He did not, just the goal. So 13 points in 13 games, 14 of his last 18, including 7 goals. He is playing some of the most consistent hockey we've seen, maybe since the Art Ross season.
What do you have, 84 points that year?
Yeah.
That was kind of a off year, right?
It was a down year as far as league scoring, but he still had the most points in the NHL.
What gets me is, like, I know like 3-4 weeks ago, there was a couple of things I saw. Ben's got a goal, don't re-sign him and all. I never understand where that stuff comes from, because the guy just, again, he's not 24. You know, what is he? Is he 34, 35 now, Jamie?
Yep.
You know,
he
so,
is.
but I think it's more about the effort that he gives every night. He may not be the fastest guy and look like he's, you know, running at 100%, because he probably isn't, but he gives you everything he has, and he's the most consistent guy when it comes to physical play. He's the most consistent guy. Of the thing that I complain about the most is about being in front of the offensive net. And I think he just kind of leads the charge there. And I think that, you know, and I don't even know what he's like as far as all the players go. I mean, I know they all respect him, but, you know, I mean vocally and how he goes about his business leading the team. But, you know, he's been doing a hell of a job of it, you know, since he started wearing that letter. And I think he's trying to prove anybody. And I know for a fact that they want this guy back. So don't worry about him going anywhere.
35 years old. Ever since Joe Pavelski retired. Oh, that was a bad bell.
That wasn't me hitting it. That was me picking it up.
I thought I just in my head I pictured him whiffing the bell.
I think we've kind of wore it out already after.
He's got it. Can we get a new bell? Can we get him a nice? I mean, it's fine.
We need a cowbell.
Joe Pavelski was the closest in age to me, Leds, and to you of the active roster. And so when he retired, that went down a little bit. Jamie Benn is a 1989 birth year. I'm a 1980. So that's the closest. 9 years difference. He's 35. I'm 44. But I swear the last year and a half, 2 years, we were talking about this the other day. He looks like he's 28 as far as the way he's playing. And he's lighter. He's quicker. Look, you said he's never going to be the Rope Hints on the team. But he just seems like he's playing a really, really intelligent game, and he's still able to use his size and his hands to be very, very effective. I kid you not. We said this in the game the other night. There was a time where you're really fearful of the last 2 or 3 years of that big contract. He's in his last year of his deal. You said he's not going anywhere. I agree. But no longer are you fearful of that dollar amount for a couple reasons. One, because he's performing at a very high level and producing points, but also because you were able to bring in young talent and recreate a core around Heiskanen, Robertson, Hintz, and not just rely on Ben and Sagan to carry the workload anymore.
I think that his priorities are in order as far as what happens in the course of a hockey game. I don't think that he's looking at going out there and being a guy that like a Hintz or Robertson or Duchesne, Sagan. I mean, they've got plenty that want to and need to score every night. He knows that how he leads this team and what he has to do to be an effective player, and he's got his roadmap, and he stays with it.
I'm laughing because Jason just joined on the chat and said, "Service, please." John's service bell. It's almost like somebody's up for the kitchen.
Well, it kind of does, but I think he's fatigued. He can't bring it anymore.
You think?
No, I was gonna make a movie reference that I determined that Luds would have no idea what it was, so I decided.
Try
not
me,
to.
test me,
Do it.
Test me.
It's true. You're not movie guy.
Test me.
Okay, part of the issue is also I forgot the name of the movie. Oh no, I remember it now. It's the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, I do remember that one, but I've only seen it once.
Voldemort plays like a kitchen dude who
The
when the bell
Grand
rings.
Budapest Hotel.
Wes
no.
Anderson. You a Wes Anderson guy, Luds?
Anderson guy?
Wes Anderson, the
Anderson.
director.
No, didn't think so.
Okay,
say
that was
it.
why I didn't say
You
it.
can still use it.
But
Everybody
let's-
else will.
Let's go
know
to the
it.
Bing Bong.
You don't let it go.
Before the next Bing Bong, I just have to slip this comment in from JT. 'Cause it made me
JT,
cry
Steve
laughing.
Spot, 8x8 incoming. Won't be long before he doesn't even need the players on the ice to score.
Bing bang.
Oh, how times have changed. Ardell with a Robertson and Steele. Oh, you know why he did that. He wants the graphic. How about Sam Steele and his work ethic? And then a little Spanish. Tienes que trabajar.
Spot. Hold on.
I think that's what it said behind the two graphics. There he is. 18 gave 55 the chance to atone for his penalty. Harley is clearly the best offensive defenseman on the Stars. I love Texas hockey with my whole entire heart. How about that?
That's a good chat. Tweet or whatever
Luds, do
you
you
call
know
it.
what
Super chat.
Tienes que trabajar translates to?
Move on, John.
All right, keep going. By the
Bing
way,
bang.
he
Last
used
one as of now.
By the way, Ardell, I appreciate you feeling the need of familiar because he used the to form. That's the less formal. That's okay. We're very informal here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Could have
Yeah.
gone with Tiene que trabajar is what Owen's saying right now, Luds.
Tiene usted, if you want to get really polite. A little super chat, Miro versus and Ben from Davis Dunkelberger. Do we see, yeah, he's trying to call it Bixel. Look, he asked to be Bischel. Do we see Bischel? Are the Stars overplaying Otter? Two different questions there. So if Ilya Lyubushkin can't play against the Flyers, is it Matt Dumba or are you thinking about calling up Bischel?
Oh, I think I just think, like I said earlier tonight, the other day, I was actually surprised. I think it's, I don't think you're going to sit Dumba out again. He's healthy, right? I mean, I don't think he's not out because of an injury. I mean, if you bring up Bischel, and I think you have to be concerned also about losing him in a way. I think that this is his third or fourth time healthy scratch, and third time?
At least the second. Because remember, he was injured early after a couple of games. Looked good to start the year and then got hurt. That it was against Edmonton where he got kind of clipped on the knee.
This is going to be his third time out.
Third stint or third game?
Third game.
Might be
Being
more than that.
scratched.
Oh, I'd have
Being
to look at it.
scratched, I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
I can check it for you.
Anyway, I don't think he's a guy that you want to, and maybe he's maybe he's cool with it. He understands I'm a team guy. I don't know. But I just, and again, I don't have a problem with Bischel going in, but I just, they're going to bring somebody up if Lyubushkin's out for
He
sure.
got hurt in the second game of the season against the Islanders. I don't know why I said Edmonton. It was the New York Islanders' first home game of the season for the Stars back in October, and he missed 4 games. Then he came back in the lineup for a bit, and then he didn't play at Pittsburgh and then home at Boston. That was the first stint, okay? And then I believe the second stint was the end of November, beginning of December. It was home against Colorado, home against Winnipeg. I don't think that was an injury, do you?
Was that the one with where he apparently got hit or hurt off the ice?
No, that was the next one, December 12th through the 29th. That's where he missed
so then
a
he
chunk
came
of
back
games.
for a game and then got sat out again.
I think that this would be his third stint.
Right.
Fifth game overall is a healthy scratch. If what I'm looking at is correct.
But I mean, it's the third time he's played and then got sat out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You pay a guy, $3-4 million, whatever it is, and sign him to a 2-year deal, and he starts as a number 1, and then all of a sudden he's a number 2 or number 4, I guess it would be, then a number 6, and now 6/7. So,
let's see here. We have one more question here. I know Davis. I saw Davis in the chat. He said spelling intentional. I knew what you were doing. We got to call him Bischel because that's what he asked, and we have to respect the player's wishes, even if you say his name is said otherwise. Are the Stars overplaying Jake Ottinger?
No.
Tonight was game number 30 for Ottinger, 30 appearances in 39 games. That's about right, right?
Yeah, I have no problem. I mean,
3 out of every 4.
Yeah,
you happy with that?
I can understand if he gets 2 games in a row off, but typically you don't do that with your starter. I just feel that, his goalie coach and the coaches have a good handle and there's a good rapport. And, like Jake has already said, he'd like to play every game if he could, which isn't going to happen. But, the 60, 65, thing in that neighborhood. And so I don't have a problem with the games that he plays. And, you look at a game like tonight, was he overtaxed tonight in the course of the hockey game that much?
Who, Jake?
Yeah.
I
don't think he was overworked.
He ended up facing the answer is no.
I don't even look at the shots that they face. I mean the east-west, in, out, behind the net, and
there
traffic
were a couple,
in front.
right? He had a couple of
Well, there should be.
breakaways.
Yeah.
He had a couple where he had to move, but the volume of shots compared to what Jonathan Quick, 39 to 25 shots on goal.
Yeah,
in favor of
and
the
the
Stars.
volume of shots doesn't really, I don't think, tires the goalie out as much as having to go up,
The
down,
high danger
across.
stuff. Yeah.
Looking, that's your term. I don't say that because that's you like
You
that.
don't
That
like
you
to,
own
you
that.
don't want to encourage that, do you?
No, I do not. But anyway, I just, you can tell when a goalie's overworked. We've seen Casey DeSmith get overworked in some games, and he's a scrambler, but he plays different than Jake too. I just think the way that Otter plays, he just doesn't lose the net much.
Boy, perfect timing. Let's talk about Die Hard program next year on DLLS. You might always doubt Craig Ludwig, but he knows when to get out of a break, and he did it with 1 second on John's countdown. Let's talk about being a Die Hard. Check this shirt out. That's the DLS flag shirt. If that's a little bold for your taste, you could try this one, which is the up in the
little
crest
more
area.
subtle.
A little more subtle. There's also, Luds, although I can't show it, it's there's like a grayscale on the back of the shirt too, right behind the back of the neck there, in between the shoulder blades.
I thought that was dandruff.
No, thank you. Sure. Well, you wear a black shirt, you're definitely showing whether or not you massage your scalp in the shower or not. Anyway, well, that's a joke. I'm waiting for you to go there. Why are we talking about these shirts? Well, because you can certainly go to alldls.com, click on the merch store, and purchase one or more of these very soft, very nice looking DLS shirts and support us. Or you could use the QR code on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, or you can go to the website, click on the Die Hard link, and sign up to be a Die Hard. And you could then get a free promo code for your first year of being a Die Hard, and every other year that you sign up, another free code, another free shirt to use. Any of the ones available, the t-shirts on our DLS site. Why be a diehard? Well, first, it really supports us and our show, and that's a great thing because we're still in our first season of existence. We're trying to get this not only off the ground, but to become part of the normal Dallas Stars fandom where people come to hear us talk about the Stars, hear Luddy's analysis, a little humor involved, and generally enjoy being a Dallas Stars fan. In addition to that, you can also hear all the writing. You can even actually read it, that Sam, who we're going to talk to in just a minute, in New York, Sean, who's currently, I believe, in Detroit, and everybody else that covers the Mavs, the Rangers, the Cowboys. Great place to get all your DFW fandom and sports right in one spot. So please consider being a diehard today. Help support our show and the other shows here at DLLS. And speaking of Mr. Madison Square Garden, it's Sam Nestler. Hi, Sam.
Hi, guys.
How about that for a pretty exciting game for your next excursion on the road for DLLS?
Tell me this doesn't look like one of those fake backgrounds you put up when you have like a Zoom meeting at work here. That's pretty incredible, eh?
It looks really sharp. So I don't know how you got kicked out of the press box, but you look great now.
Thanks, boys. Yeah, it's exciting. It's a little different than Dallas. A little harder to find your way around in here, but we made it. We're here.
Hot Sam, Commando at the Garden. The plumber is on site at MSG. Boy, the nicknames are just flying around the chat right now, Sam. But let's talk about the hockey game. What was your take from this one, what you saw and what you heard down in the room afterwards of what they're talking about?
Yeah, number one, I mean, this team just continues to impress with how they stick with it, right? Not only, I mean, the 3-0, it's funny to push off of 3-0 like it was nothing because it was very impressive, but they felt like they deserved to win the game, and that was the sentiment downstairs from both Pete DeBoer and all the players was no one panicked. We went down 3-0 and there wasn't even a whole lot said on the bench. It was just Matt Duchene literally said, like, how is it 3-0? Like, instead of taking it frustratingly and hanging your head or allowing another quick one and being right out of the game, they looked at it as, let's just get one here and get right back in it. And they get the quick one. And Pete DeBoer said the first one was the most important there, just to get them back, to give them some life and make them give him some reward for what they deserve. They played a really good first period. They put up a ton of shots, and they deserved better than being down 3-0. But the fact that they were able to do that, come all the way back, and then give up that next goal, that just felt like a backbreaker. For anyone in the stands, for us in the media, you know, we're thinking we were getting ready to go down the elevator. We're going to have to go down to a tough loss and talk to some very bummed out players who really thought they earned a point when they brought all the way back. Jake Ottinger even said in his mind it was 3-3 going in overtime. That's how we wanted to keep it, and obviously that didn't happen. And all of the things that happened there come right back in. Thomas Harley takes the penalty that leads to the goal. Thomas Harley gets the goal to get it right back. The Stars find a way to get another goal after going down. It was just really impressive, and I want to give a shout out to Sam Steele because that play he made to get the puck to Harley, it's my type of hockey play. It's what I love. He's the Superman there. Thomas Harley said to me when I asked him about that play, he said it's the difference between winning and losing. That extra little bit of effort just to create some chaos in that zone, turn the puck over and find Harley. It's what makes this team so special because they're able to do that and have the high-end skill to score goals. So just very impressed with the win overall.
So any update on Ilya Lyubushkin? Because we were watching that hit. They had a very timely shot of that hit he took from Sam Carrick. Looked like he caught his face on the glass just above the dasher and was holding his head on the bench. Did they have anything on him after the game?
No update. Pete just said no. We'll maybe get some more tomorrow or on Thursday because it seems like they're canceling practice tomorrow after being planned to do that for the past week. But no update on that. He was holding his head on the bench as you mentioned, and it looked like he was kind of holding and pointing to his face when we saw him down below after the interviews and everything like that. So it's just something we'll have to keep an eye on for probably Thursday morning at morning skate.
So we always like to check in with your travels and your experiences. Obviously, MSG, huge mecca for New York City sports. Did you notice any Dallas Stars presence from the fans, etc., as you were arriving, watching the game, covering it post-game?
Yeah, it's an interesting arena now, especially with the new press box, which you can see is up here. And so it's almost like a bridge. This is nice, lads. It's like you got a camera, you can do a video here. It's a bridge that actually sticks out. So there's fans behind you as well, which is what
so it's like a gondola.
Glass wall. Yeah, it's a cool way to see it. It blocks it. We actually block them from seeing the top of the scoreboard here. So they have their own big screen on the back of the press box, so they get all the replays and everything like that. But it's a unique arena where you kind of hear chants from everywhere. If you're in the press box, you hear fans cheering from behind you, below you, across the arena, and then you get that regular full on, loud roar from the arena when the home team scores. But there were a lot of Stars fans here, which was the case when I used to come here growing up. There was always some pockets of green and some people that loved to high five on their way out. There were also plenty of people getting booed that I saw with green on, because you can't hide when you got the green, right? It's not like you're wearing a blue that kind of blends in with the other blue or anything like that. You are standing out very easily in this crowd, but very impressed with the amount of green that was in here, and the Stars chant during the anthem. Pretty good, I got to say. I'm impressed with the fans.
Sam, I'm more curious about post-game activity for yourself and your future father-in-law and your future wife.
You
don't have a spot picked out already?
She went to the train with my dad. She came with my dad to the game, so they already left, and I am trying to catch
that's even better.
An early train to get home. But yeah, no plans as of now for any special tonight. She got school tomorrow, so it's going to be
hopefully she doesn't watch the show and spoil anything. Sam, look behind you. We had to get a wide shot real quick. Is the Zamboni still zooming around out there?
Oh yeah, he's going.
So
I'll show you guys.
The reason why I was pointing that out is that's your way of proving that you're not standing in front of a fake screen, because you have real activity cleaning the ice.
Yeah, no, I hired that guy to do that, so you guys would think there was something going on here. They actually turned the lights off a minute ago. They turned it back on for me, I think.
Well, that was nice of them. So no practice tomorrow, which was originally scheduled to be in Voorhees. The Stars didn't practice yesterday after having Sunday off. They're really taking to heart this rest over, getting on the ice, and they've won now 5 games in a row, so it's hard to argue.
Yeah, they're earning it, I think, and this is just a time we don't know what's going on. There's no bug or things like that are bringing this team down, but there might be a few guys that are battling through something, or they just understand they're playing a lot of hockey in January to make up for the February break that they're going to have. So I actually didn't even get official confirmation that practice was canceled, but Jamie Benn walked by and Mike Heika goes, "Jamie, we practicing tomorrow?" He goes, "Nope," and walked away. So that was as much confirmation. Would you take that to the bank if
Jamie says that?
Yeah, and you know what?
Believe it.
that's a long conversation for Jamie.
Yeah,
that was a long. Yeah, I mean, he got a lot out of him. Hey, speaking of Jamie, Sam, can you check with Benner and just ask, like, I'm curious, because it's been like the last 3-4 games that he's only taken 1 or 2 faceoffs a game, and it may be just as simple as playing with Matt Duchene. But I'm surprised on power plays where he's so strong on that side of the ice. Like, I think he had 1 last game. He's got only 1 tonight. If that's just, hey, Matt's doing a great job at it, or if there's some other reason.
Yeah, I'll absolutely ask, but I will say that I did notice, I think I spoke to either Owen or both of you guys. I can't remember if it was a home game or a road game, but Jamie was actually struggling a little bit for a few games in the faceoff dot. It was when they were really struggling to win those power play faceoffs, and it was leading to that tonight. Huge.
That's what I just said.
So that huge,
you
that
listen
huge
to
long
anything
streak.
I say?
we all do it. It happens. Keep going, Sam.
Yeah, so it was just during that streak where the Stars went 0 for whatever, 21 or whatever it was on the power play. And a big part of that was they were losing not just the first draw and having to regroup, but almost every draw on the faceoff. They were 27th or 26th in power play faceoff percentage, and I think Ben was a big part of that. So I'll definitely ask to confirm. I would imagine it has a lot to do with Duchene being better than Ben on it, or maybe something to do with their setup, but I'll definitely ask for you.
Yeah, it's his overall faceoff percentage this year is the lowest it's been in like 6 or 7 years. I think he's around 52% or something like that, 53, somewhere in that
57.
Neighborhood. Yeah.
But the previous 2 years were 61 and 60. So it's not since the 21-22 where he was at 55.
Yeah. So just wondering, just curious minds.
Thanks to everyone who joined on our television platforms. Make sure to like and subscribe here on the pod and check out alldls.com. All right, we have a couple more things to do. Sam, how you doing on time before trying to catch a train?
I missed it.
Okay, so then
So
if that's the case, then we're going to keep you here, which is fine. two things for you. One, in the chat, they're calling it the Samboni and getting a lot of laughs about that. So you have the Samboni. Somebody was asking, Davis wanted to know why you didn't have a ring light. I actually like the sort of side of your head reflection. Like it looks like what Sean started with our show on Monday.
Yep.
So that was good.
They turn the lights are nice.
But
if that were Sean, his hair would have grown an inch by now under the light there.
the grow lights. All right, Sam.
Chia.
I'm going to ask Luds to do the Herman Marshall Marquee moment of the game, and then we'll do man of the match. Pick up your favorite bottle at your closest goody liquor store.
How can I not go for the Jamie Benn overtime goal?
Not
right?
the Owen wasn't listening and said the same thing you said 2 seconds later?
Exactly. I'm going to have to go with the captain again, scoring a big goal.
For every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas. For those who went before, stop into your closest goody liquor store to find your favorite bottle. And in my defense, I was actually looking up Jamie's face-off stat percentage over the last few years, and then I didn't hear him say he only took one tonight. So, yep, that's on me.
I was
Sam?
I was listening, Luds.
Thank you, Sam.
Sam, man of the match tonight?
I'm going to go wild card because I could easily pick someone that I pick a lot, but I'm going to say Maverick Bourque. I think this might have been his best game of the entire season. He was all over the ice, creating a ton of chances, almost tied the game twice. I believe he hit the post and then had that diving wraparound chance. He creates the shot on net that leads to the Dodonov goal. Just so much going on for Bourque. And I know Pete always says, build on it when someone has a game like that, especially a guy who's been struggling or hasn't been contributing. But he actually had some words to say about it and said that line with Steele and Stankoven and Bourque was very good tonight, and actually called out the fact that there was a big response for them because they weren't good tonight. The bottom six wasn't good last game. The whole bottom six wasn't. They got outplayed in that game, which is why they ended up benching a couple of those guys in the third period. So I'm going to give it to Maverick Bourque because I think he needs to build off of it, but this was a great start and a huge confidence booster. Yeah,
it's a good choice, Sam. And his minutes reflect how Pete feels about him. I think Pete's the kind of guy, he tries to keep the minutes even all the time anyways. He doesn't like wearing out any of his forwards. But, he's up just over 15 minutes tonight. So I think that's a reward for him. And basically it's a sign. He's telling you, I like the way you're going. And he's the easiest way to sum it up for me is he's noticeable. I mean, he's relevant. And like you said, he's not trying to overdo things and dish it off to people. He's directing a lot of things at the net. He's going to the net and he's getting involved. And so I think, when we were, I guess I didn't even know what he was all about in the beginning, but we kept talking about him. But I think, again, not everybody comes in the league like Logan did, and so it just takes him time to get his confidence one way or another. And then what was it, a week ago? We were talking about, well, if they send anybody down, it would be good for him. And he may have heard this and he said, to hell with you guys. There's no way I'm going down.
If it worked, he looks way better in this game. And hopefully he can build. Can he do it again? Can he go to Philadelphia and play well? Because remember, there's a pretty big rookie playing for the Flyers right now. He doesn't have the lead, though. He got passed by one of your old Canadians guys. Lane Hudson now has the points lead. But yeah, it would be nice to see. It would be nice, especially with the injury to Marchment, the injury to Sagan, not having Pavelski. If you could get a little bit more from Stankoven and Bourque, that's going to help take a little pressure off the top guys.
What are you pointing at me for?
Anything else you want to add on?
No, I said my piece.
Okay.
I was just going to say the other thing that I see with Bourque when he's on is, I wrote about it a little in the 3 thoughts, is it's a confidence thing, as we just talked about, but it's similar to Nils Lundqvist, right, Luds, where we talked about Nils wasn't doing the wrong thing necessarily. He was just kind of going in 70% or going in 50% into battles or into whatever he was doing with the puck. And for Maverick Bourque, I mean, how many passes did he intercept in the high slot and the forecheck? How many times did he win a battle in a corner? That's to me because he's going in 100% into those battles, because he's confident in his ability. And as Luds just said, once he gets it, he's quickly turning up and making a play. That's Maverick Bourque, and I believe that's why it's even bigger than just him having a big game. It's that his confidence was on a new level.
I am dangerous.
Thanks, Maverick.
I think when you talk about Nils and Maverick, I think that they were playing the game not to make a mistake, and they were worrying too much about what I'm not supposed to do. And so, like right now, they're playing the game that they can play. You know what I mean? And they're not thinking too much. And I think any time that you can get outside your own head and just do what the gift that, you know, God gave you and play that game. And again, it's part of the coaching too, right? I mean, they're allowing them to do some things and not punish them for not doing the right thing, because they're doing more things right than they are wrong. And that's just part of playing hockey. You're going to do things wrong. It's just, you know, just so it's not a catastrophe. And both of those guys, you know, and again, the one guy I probably didn't notice a lot tonight, since we're talking about, was Huru.
Yeah.
I didn't notice anything, which doesn't, I mean, you can think of it also as it's not a bad thing.
No.
But I didn't notice it, except for the screaming again.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
It would be easy to pick Jason Robertson as my man of the match. He scored a big goal. He looks like Jason Robertson again. He's dangerous. He was winning physical battles, not just getting pushed around. I'm sure the confidence is a lot higher than it was to start the year. But I have to go with Thomas Harley.
Oh.
You know why?
Ditto.
Goal and 2 power play assists. Stars had 2
Yeah.
power plays. They scored 2 power play goals. And Harley had his hands on both. Is it time? It's been time.
Yeah, it's time.
They've got to have him out on the power play more
I mean,
and earlier.
His mobility and puck movement is it's not better than Heiskanen. Like, Heiskanen's capable of doing it. Heiskanen just doesn't think that way when he's on the power play. And you see Harley open it up and move that puck quickly and moving his feet with it, especially when they got the open ice on 4-on-3. It's next level, and I think he's earned it. He has.
Yeah, there's a certain confidence he has in himself to be in those situations, and I think he reads the game well enough when to jump in. And yes, there's gonna be times where he's gonna, you know, try things a little bit too much. But for guys that can bring that to the table, you kind of have to live with that stuff, and that's why you ideally try to play him with someone that, you know, when that happens, there's somebody else there to buy a little time for people to get back into the play. But he just seems to appear, especially in the offensive zone, he appears in places right on schedule. You know, like the goal where he was the other night when he comes down the wall and makes a play to Wyatt, I guess it was. Like, again, it's his offensive instincts that are what make him stand out than the other defensemen, I should say. And usually when he's making a play to the net or making a pass, it's the right play to make. Or just taking a shot. It's a right shot, and we know he's got a hell of a shot, too.
Do you want to pick anybody else? Or are you good with the
No,
ones
that's
we
where I
picked?
was going anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think in a game like this, unfortunately, I was leaning to no one, you know, when the game was at a certain period.
Yeah.
But if I had to give it to anybody else, I'd go with probably the coach. You know, I think he managed his players. I think he always does. But tonight, he has the ability, when you kind of start to pay attention, which I obviously don't a lot, but when the game is over with, the minutes are allotted the way they should be. You know what I mean? Like he recognizes in a game when it's time to start, you know, juggling lines or moving players around, and
You played 30 minutes and 43 seconds tonight?
Who?
Miro Heiskanen.
Yeah.
Miro.
Especially after Labushkin got hurt,
Labushkin
right?
goes
Yeah,
down. He's
big
gonna be
injury.
okay. Yeah. So
The New York Rangers, Luds, and Sam, both. They've lost 9 games in their last 12. 3-8-1. First overtime or shootout loss in their last 23. They're 6-16-1. Worst record in the NHL since November 20th. Was this team better tonight than that record shows?
they didn't look as bad as if you watched any of the other games. What was the one game against the Devils? Maybe they had
That
like
5-0
they had
loss.
like 12 shots in the game.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that it may have been that game, or it could have been the game after that. They hit the bottom, and I think that you couldn't go any lower than that. Well, then maybe they can, but can you imagine tonight if that game and it was Shesterkin playing in there when he's at the peak of what he is?
You think they win that one?
I was going to say that might be a different
Nothing
outcome.
against Quick.
But there's nothing against winning the hockey game either. I mean, you play against who they put in front of you.
Yep.
So I would think that the players may come out of that game, and I don't think Jonathan Quick was terrible. There was one I thought that I thought he should have seen. But anyway, but Shesterkin probably gives them a better opportunity to win that game tonight when they're up 3-0.
Is it the Harley goal?
I think it is the Harley goal. Because
I mean, it's a heck of a play by Steele.
it was a great play by
Steele,
Steele, but I don't think there was anybody in front of him, and it kind of beats him over to the blocker side. Is that the one? Yeah, that was the Harley one. So
well, because if you think about it, the first one, Duchesne, it's a deflection off a defenseman.
Yeah.
Then Dodonov, it's the rebound on the power play, empty net dunk. Robertson, that backhander up high. And then Harley and Benn in overtime. Harley, the one that ties it.
Yeah, it's the Harley goal that I thought, and it didn't look like his view was obstructed. Thomas just beat him, and sometimes you just give credit to the shooter, but I don't think he was between the top of the circle and the hash marks. So I don't think he was down near the hash mark. But anyway, that would be the only one. But I think that if that's the Shesterkin that we've seen, that's just can be incredible. That one maybe doesn't go in.
Sam, was there any talk that you overheard in New York today, either this morning or tonight, about where the state of the Rangers are at that you want to share?
No, not specifically from the team or anything like that. But what I will say is at this game, like I mentioned when the Rangers were in town, remember I talked about the morning skate and how it was just bleak and quiet and stressful. And tonight at the game, I know New York fans for a long time. I grew up in New Jersey going to Giants and all these teams that are around here. But the frustration from not a whole lot from this crowd, you could tell that was building off of a lot more than just this game, right? They were up 3-0 or 2-0, whatever it was at the time, and they go on a power play, and they're actually moving the puck around and creating some chances. And the crowd was just, I could feel the crowd like gathering out of their seats to start yelling at them. They're yelling at them to shoot the puck. They're screaming and getting so frustrated. You could just feel it all building up. And that's what I felt from the team when they were in Dallas. And that's what you feel from this team. And that's what you've seen from this team is that it doesn't take much, right? Like if they went down to the Stars 3-0 in this game, take away everything the Stars do well. Let's just say it was 3-0 Stars and they gave the Rangers a chance to come back in the game. The Rangers probably fold. It's just the way it's going for them right now. They're not rolling like the Stars. They don't have the confidence like the Stars to just be able to bounce back from it. Instead, they kind of go into that shell. And that's why I think this win, I'm not going to say it's going to turn their whole season around. I don't know how you fix the stuff going on, but I will say this game specifically, you could feel their confidence grow from those goals, right? They didn't deserve to be up 3-0. We can agree on that. They realized that and they said, look, we're up 2-0 or 3-0. We can push from there. And that's what goes with your point, Owen. I think they looked better from that point on. There were still some moments of domination from Dallas and some swimming in the defensive end, but I think that they took advantage of the opportunity to be up in the game when they shouldn't have been. And that was a huge part of what made this game close. Not so much they're just a good enough team to go up and take Dallas to overtime. I think that was a big part of it.
Sam, I'm chuckling because you've got to see this chat from our boss, GM Ben. How the hell did Sam get to New York?
It's a lot of swaying the GM is how that worked out. A lot of Spirit Airlines and subways.
Yeah. How's your ass feeling, Sam, after that Spirit
Dude,
flight?
It was worse than I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Was that your first Spirit flight?
Ben just said that you stole his credit card.
I flew from Spirit one time from Atlanta to New York, and it wasn't really that bad. It was, not great, but it was just pretty average. I gotta send you the picture of my seat that I took. It legit looked like a lawn chair. It was so thin on the bottom and the back.
I wasn't kidding, man.
I sat in it, and it was like, just kids crying everywhere. Nobody showered that was on the flight. Bumpy as heck. It was not a good experience. I didn't get delayed. That was the only positive out of the whole experience.
My ass aches for you, Sam.
Was Matt Rempe on that flight? Did they have Rempe on that same flight?
Yeah, it must be how he gets.
There's their savior. He may be back for their next game in Jersey.
I wouldn't be surprised because
I would have never thought he'd been played another game in New York. But
well, Sam,
I agree.
You've been accused of using a fake background, and it would actually be hilarious if you were like in the other corner in front of a green screen.
Zamboni's leaving.
Yep. But there you go.
See him. He's gone.
He is at the world's most famous arena. You'll be in Philadelphia for the Stars game on Thursday night at Wells Fargo Center, Stars and Flyers. The Flyers got the Maple Leafs in town tonight. Toronto only had 17 shots on goal to 32 for Philly, and the Leafs won 3-2.
Hey, Sam, go out the front door, go across the street, take a right, go 2 blocks down, and on the left-hand side, go in there, order 2 beers, one for you and me, and take a picture and tweet it out.
There you go.
All right. Wait, is that in New York or Philly?
Oh, that's in New York.
Okay.
Are
I
you
was gonna
staying?
say,
You're
I
staying
need
overnight,
something-
aren't you tonight?
He's
No,
got to
I'm
catch
going
a train.
back to New Jersey.
Yeah, but how much
the
time you
train-
got?
I,
How much time
I
you
got
got?
like 45 minutes. I got
Oh
45
yeah, you got
minutes,
plenty
so
of time.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just going right downstairs, right?
Yeah, sleeping with the people that sleep there all night.
Have you been watching the news lately about anything going on downstairs there in New York in the subways and on trains and all that kind of stuff?
Is
Are you
it
just putting that bad
nonstop?
juju
People
out there?
asking
Knock
me.
on that.
No,
Asking
I
me
want them to
buy
be careful. You never
tickets,
know
or-
when somebody's going to sneak up behind you down there.
That's right.
No, I will say there were a ton of police around the Penn Station and the MSG today. So whatever it is, I can imagine that's part of it.
All right. Well, you need to get
Don't
going
worry.
so you can.
Last thoughts about
I'm a-
Flyers
I'm
coming
a
up on
fighter.
Thursday night.
Stingy, tight game. In your face, kind of. You know who coaches the team, and it's Philly. So, I think you need to have a different approach opening up the game. As you do in Philly than you did tonight. I think that team thinks they're going to be in a playoff, and they're probably a little bit hungrier and led by the guy that stands on the bench there. So I don't think Philly you'd come back from 3 goals against.
Hardell just said, Sam, don't wreck any toilets at the Mecca of sports. Don't do it.
Fair enough.
And
if there's
then-
any place they wouldn't notice, it would be here.
And then I Love Misty said, Wells Fargo has the nicest bathrooms of any NHL arena I've been to. So
Not
there's
after
that.
Sam's done with it.
What's that?
Not after Sam's done with it. That'll knock
Yeah,
it down the rankings.
we'll see about that. There's some nice ones here in the media room. I'll tell you that. You
And
have
then,
to have your
Sam, one
badge
last
to
one
get
for
in there.
you. GM Ben said, so bad time to tell you guys Spirit is our new Stars podcast sponsor, I guess.
That would be. I need to bring that booster seat from the AAC next time.
Sam, are you going to be back here for the snowstorm that's coming?
No, I don't think so. When is it?
Thursday into Friday.
Yeah, no, I won't be back yet. So
You're gone.
thankfully, we'll see if I get back at all with that going on.
Are you
I know the
remote
city
for Saturday, Montreal?
Yeah, for the weekend I'm remote.
Oh, listen to that. He's trying to avoid this weather.
You're not going to be in Montreal, though, are you?
No, I wish.
Oh, I got
wish.
a
Does
If it-
Spirit
Rolodex
fly
for
to
you,
Montreal?
places to stop there, huh?
Yeah. If you can find me a way.
If GM Ben is still watching, Luds probably ought to do a remote.
Boy, we get a story from that video log.
I'll document everything.
All right, Sam's going to get thrown out of the building. Sam, we will
he
talk to
literally
you.
is right now.
We're not on tomorrow. We have a day off. We will be pregame on Thursday at 5:30, Stars and Flyers. Enjoy your day. Get home safely. We'll talk to you Thursday, Sam.
Thanks, boys. See ya.
All right,
Are
Luddy,
we almost done?
we're done.
Well, I'd like to get the last word from KG.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Here he comes.
for real.
Oh, he
well,
took
you
it-
don't have to get
He
undressed or
took
take
the
your hat off.
It's chilly out there for Texans. It's okay.
KG,
what do you got?
KG's show lapped us tonight.
How'd the Mavs do?
The Mavs beat the fake show tonight. Beat them by, it was 118-97. So Stars win, Mavs win. It's a good night.
It's a good night here at DLLS.
That's right.
For Tanner and Bobby and KG, the Mavs show, they're out. Look at that. We got flag shirts. We got the sweatshirt.
That's right. We got a sweatshirt. Link in the description below.
Yeah, look at that. Check it out. But you can't get that long sleeve because that's a custom Craig Ludwig special underneath the DLS t-shirt. And there's a special message of no distractions in there as well. It's a one of one.
Which I work with 3 of them.
Yeah, all the time. So for our now departed Sam Nestler, for John Anderson, our producer, for Craig Ludwig, I'm Owen Newkirk. 5:30 pregame show on Thursday. Stars and the Flyers.
You notice how I didn't include Sean in that
Yes.
when I said 3. I didn't say 4. I said 3.
You have more respect for Sean.
I have a ton of respect for Sean.
Well, he'll like to hear that. Sean will be here for that one as well. He's going to do the broadcast on Thursday night. Until then, enjoy your Wednesday. Thanks for joining us tonight on DLLS.